Here's a question going toward WrestleMania. Seth Rollins was in that building.
Yes.
Why didn't he come out and rescue Cody? That leaves a question in my mind for Cody and Seth Rollins tag teaming.
Let's talk about The Rock. You know, just on a recent episode, I was complaining that I thought The Rock needed to be more of a badass, less more of the ha-ha character. Well, hell, he gave it to us on a recent episode of Monday Night Raw, the most recent one as of this recording. He came out in the beginning of Raw, actually around the 9 o'clock hour of Raw, with Cody, and they faced off in the ring without saying a single word on the mic. Rock whispers something to Cody, leaves the ring, and I kind of thought that was it for the night for those two, that they just left you kind of hanging there. But that's not what happened. That is to close the show out, guys. I know both of you have seen the videos now or watched it on TV.
Yeah.
The Rock beat the ever-living hell out of Cody Rhodes and finally got that venom that I was looking for to make me want to see him get his ass handed to him.
And it, bloody beating,
Yes.
which when I watched that and I saw that, that was all the American dream. I think The Rock said, let's do this old school, like somebody attacking your daddy in the parking lot and bleeding all over the place. This was an old school angle I could have seen in Memphis. I could have seen in Georgia. I could have seen in Florida. It was old school. The whole night was very fast paced on that Raw, but that particular ending to that was old school wrestling at its very best.
Teddy, what did you think when you saw it?
Well, here's the thing, man. You gotta my congrats to Cody, because in the Bill can explain this to you too. In our business, there's something that the guys say, you know, well, I don't know whether I can trust this guy. Will he do business?
Yep.
Well, last night Cody Rhodes did business. Okay, Cody Rhodes understands now that the change has came. Cody Rhodes understands now that he wants to be on the winning team. So what Cody Rhodes did is he let The Rock knew, I'm gonna do business. So, you know, I'm with y'all. So that was the best thing Cody Rhodes could ever did. And like you say, Bill, it's old school wrestling. That's what you got to get back to, is what brought you to the dance. You ain't got to do everything you did back old school, but you got to make people believe. If you got a problem with somebody, you don't like them, then let them know it.
That reminded me of the old Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
Buzz Sawyer and Tommy Rich. I mean, every week it was, yeah.
But that's what made it exciting for me. But here's the key, though, in when you show blood, and I'm sure that's the first time that they've actually shown blood and highlighted it on WWE in quite some time.
Yeah.
When you see that, make it sparingly. Don't do it every weekend, every show, because at that point it loses the effect. The reason why that happened and looks so good to everybody, you haven't seen blood on TV in a long time.
Yeah.
And the fans loved the way it felt because it felt real. It felt raw. Hell, they were outside in the rain. Mother Nature's coming down. They're in the rain, the pouring rain, doing this. It made it even look more appealing to see.
That's how you're supposed to do it. That's how you're supposed to do it.
Yes.
You're supposed to sell.
Yeah.
Just that simple.
And thank God they did, because that
You
really,
remember the
for me,
stuff?
made
You remember the stuff they did when Vince was there back in Corpus Christi, when they threw Chavo into the ocean?
Yep.
Brother, do you know that there's sharks and shit in that ocean?
Yep.
So they had two divers. They had two divers down there already waiting, you know, so they could get it.
Wow.
But how can you not believe that? You don't know that the divers are down there.
Oh, no.
The
No.
thing is, though, at the end of it, when it went off TV, you wonder why didn't. Here's a question going toward WrestleMania. Seth Rollins was in that building.
Yes.
Why didn't he come out and rescue Cody? That leaves a question in my mind for Cody and Seth Rollins tag teaming.
I still think that the one thing they got to be careful of, as much as I can't wait to see Cody and Rock, you know, go at it, the story really is Cody and Roman. And that can't get lost in the mix. The main event of WrestleMania is Cody and Roman, not Cody and The Rock. So they need to put some more focus up on Roman so that fans don't forget there is another story going on here. But outside of that, man, I loved every single bit of it. I thought it was exciting to see that.
But what happens if there's a twist where Roman on night 2 isn't there to defend his title? He gets injured in the tag team match, not badly, but enough not to defend the title, and they put The Rock in against Cody, and Cody beats him, and now we go to SummerSlam with Cody against Roman Reigns for the title.
Danny, what did you think about that?
Great idea, but I'm listening to you guys, and you're still dwelling on something that is already that they're teasing. So I think they might screw us all and change the whole program.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. So that's why I don't want to say nothing, because last night I had a chance to watch it, and especially the promo with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre and all that. That was just outstanding. I mean, that was well written, and it didn't take a lot to write it, because I could see that some of it was not written, some of it was actually real.
Correct. Yeah.
And but those promos were outstanding. Everybody was on time. There's certainly a change there, and that change looks good. And you can see in the guys like Punk and Drew and them, when they were cutting their promos, they were so comfortable. You know what I mean? So when you're comfortable, that means that the working conditions are a lot better. You know what I mean? So I can tell when a guy go out and cut a promo, if he goes out and get beaten, didn't want to do a job, because you can see it, the expression on his face. But everybody now, you can see that with the change. Everybody wants to do business. Let's make money. Let's have a good time and entertain the fans.
And that's the thing that Raw, the last Raw we're talking about, reminded me of. It was really from beginning to end. That was an old Attitude Era program of Raw, and it was the best 3 hours where I could actually stay up and watch them without falling asleep. 3 hours of entertainment that was good from start to finish.
Yes, it was very good, man. Everything was great there last night. I'm telling you, I watched it.
Well,
good from start to finish, unless you're Vince Russo. I watched Russo's Legion of Raw, and bro, how could they do this? I was like, I enjoyed that 3 hours so very much. And, he's one of our compadres here on Sportskeeda and WrestleBinge, and I don't like to say anything bad about it, but this was 3 hours of really good, hot television.
I even saw CM Punk give a little shout out to Jim Cornette and his shows.
Yes,
Punk, you can do that for us too if you want. You know what I'm saying?
Stop it, man.
One thing I do want to bring up during the promos with all those guys in the ring, talking about CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins. During this time, Punk kept trying to tease, what is it I'm going to do? Am I going to sit by the desk and do commentary, or am I going to be in the ring? And of course, he ended up saying, okay, I'm going to go sit ringside, and I'm going to be doing commentary with Michael Cole and have a lot of fun. The entire time I'm thinking, I'd rather see him as the special guest referee.
The fans were chanting, referee, referee.
Yeah, and I think that's what everybody was hoping for. And then then I kept thinking, well, he can't because of his arm. What did Punk do? He dropped down to the mat and used his other arm, counting the 3 count like it was no problem whatsoever. So it made you go, yeah, see, he can do it. I think that'd be a great spot. And I'd be surprised if he doesn't end up in that ring somehow, deciding the end of that match. That's just what I feel.
You gotta have him involved. You got SummerSlam, your next big show.
Yep. And you got to set it up, and he'll be ready to go by then. So we know that.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at AEW for a quick second here. AEW in Canada had Adam Copeland, former Edge, beating Christian Cage to become the new AEW TNT champion. That was another great match for me. They can say they want to say about AEW. People can put them down, but this match between these two, well done.
Well, when you say something about AEW, that don't mean you're talking about the whole company.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you ain't talking about everybody. You know, yeah, you're just talking about you know who.
Oh yeah,
right.
Bill, what did you think about the match?
Oh, they both seemed like they were in their prime. They were very.
They really did.
They were both very hungry. They're both old school wrestlers. They're not ancient. They're old school wrestlers, and they put on a, let's call it a 5-star match out of 4 stars. It was that intense. It was that good. It felt like when they were in WWE and in their prime, if they were against each other, which didn't happen. But the heat that Christian had generated over the past year has just been, they wanted somebody to come in and destroy him, and who but his former best friend and rival, Edge, and they got the point across. It was excellent. It was so well done.
You know,
how great a story was that?
Yes,
fabulous.
Very good.
And they took their time with it and they built it. And the only reason they did it is because of Edge and Christian, because they knew how to do it.
You know, as I was watching it takes you back. It makes you think about the old days between the two. But the one thing I did notice during the match, no matter how much pain they were putting each other through, as you could tell, they were enjoying themselves in the ring. They enjoyed what they were doing. And going back to what you had said earlier, Teddy, about the guys in the ring with Drew McIntyre and everybody just kind of getting along and feeling off of each other. If you watch, they all look at some point like they're having a blast. It used to be they had to remember everything. And I think they carried so much that they had to remember they weren't allowed to be themselves and have a little bit of freedom and fun in those promos. And when that freedom comes into promos, it comes across much better on TV. I think the fans feel like they're getting a show and they're not getting this, fake act. They're getting the person in the ring that's just saying what he's going to say.
It looks like a shoot.
You're getting the real guy.
Like a shoot.